My husband was reborn. The first thing he did after rebirth was to bypass me, trapped in the rubble of our collapsed house due to the earthquake, and dig through another pile of debris. I felt no pain. Instead, I breathed a sigh of relief. In this life, I no longer had to bear the burden of him failing to save his mother in time because he rescued me, leaving her permanently disabled. No longer would I have to toil like a beast of burden for the Sue family, freely offering them my blood, sweat, and tears. Even if I die, it's fine. Anyway, I don't want to relive the hardships of my past life again. The original me was beautiful, lively, cheerful, and capable. The apple of my parents' eye and a rising star in the eyes of my superiors. After marrying into the Sue family, all the happiness shattered, replaced by 20 years of a nightmare akin to being treated like livestock. Mother Sue would always curse at me. If my son hadn't prioritized saving you, I wouldn't have lost my legs and become disabled. My sister-in-law would also cry and scold. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be a pitiful child without a mother's care. Soo-jun also regretted countless times. If I hadn't saved you, I wouldn't have become an unfilial son, leaving my mother disabled. Otherwise, it should have been you who ended up disabled. You owe our entire family. Yes, it's all because he saved me first. I owe his whole family. I used the dowry my parents gave me to buy their family a big house downtown and sent his younger sister to the most expensive private high school. Soo-jun said he suffered workplace bullying and angrily quit his job to stay home playing games. When I urged him to go out and find a job, he angrily smashed his computer and threw his mouse, saying, if I didn't see my mom like that every day, I wouldn't feel guilty, which led to work mistakes and being bullied by colleagues and superiors. And I wouldn't have quit my job to stay at home. The original me was highly appreciated by the boss and was about to get promoted. Hearing these words, I couldn't bring myself to push him to work anymore. Instead, I obediently bought him a high-performance computer and mouse so he could play games better at home. The only one in the family who didn't oppress me with words was Father Sue, but he was the idle and useless one in the family, with no say in anything. Every time, he would only make some lukewarm remarks to smooth things over, then focus on watching his TV. I bear the financial burden for a family of 5, working diligently every day, fearing unemployment. After work, I rush home to cook meals and do household chores. If I'm even slightly late getting home, the whole family glares at me angrily. No one would wash a single vegetable or mop the floor. I feel indebted to them, not daring to speak back, so I suppress this frustration silently. It led to blocked mammary ducts and eventually developed into breast cancer, which took my life. At the company, I originally had the opportunity for an overseas assignment to study and get promoted, but the Sue family couldn't do without my care. I didn't even dare to work overtime, let alone go abroad for training. So, juniors who weren't as capable or qualified as me climbed over my head one by one, becoming my superiors. Day after day, year after year, I remain a small accountant. Often mocked and bullied, I don't dare to quit either, as my family depends on my salary. Of course, my meager salary of 10,000 yuan alone isn't enough to support so many people. I still rely on my parents' financial help every month. My parents felt sorry for me and gave me most of their pension. Before I married Soo-jun, they lived very comfortably. They traveled whenever they had time, wore clothes that cost thousands from brand stores, and often bought all kinds of delicious food. After I got married, they pitied me and silently endured me bringing Sue's entire family to live off them. Clothes and shoes started being bought from street stalls, and my mom, who used to avoid the smelly wet markets and only shopped at supermarkets, began going to the markets too, even buying discounted, out-of-season vegetables. Dad coughed frequently but refused to go to the hospital to save money, relying instead on folk remedies. This delayed treatment until he was diagnosed with terminal lung cancer. Unable to bear Dad's passing, Mom fell into depression and soon followed him in death. Perhaps due to prolonged stress and exhaustion, I suffered multiple miscarriages and eventually became infertile. Sue's mother scolded me as a barren hen, saying I would cut off their Sue family line. Soo-jun met a woman in a game, secretly had 2 children with her behind my back, and used my money to support them. Thinking I owed the Sue family, I endured silently until I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Fearing the pain of cancer, I mustered my courage and jumped from the 30th floor. I never expected that I would be reborn. Even more unexpectedly, Soo-jun was also reborn, too. Soo-jun was anxiously calling for his mother while disregarding his bleeding fingers as he frantically dug through the rubble of bricks, stones, and wooden beams before the earthquake. This had been a small single-story shop awaiting demolition. Soo-jun and I were originally just ordinary colleagues working in different departments. That day, I happened to pass by this place and wanted to buy a bottle of water. Then a magnitude 5 earthquake struck. The entire single-story house collapsed, trapping me inside. I had just greeted Soo-jun before entering the store, and when he saw me trapped inside, he rushed over to rescue me, pulling me out of the rubble, unexpectedly. His elderly mother was also shopping there and got her legs crushed by a falling beam. By the time the rescuers arrived and freed her, her legs were completely ruined, leaving her unable to stand ever again. If I had been able to save my mom in time, she wouldn't have ended up like this. Soo-jun said with endless regret. This time, he was reborn and had the chance to make up for his regrets. My parents are still alive. I can't let them bury their own child. I must strive to save myself. I took a look at my surroundings. I realized my situation wasn't too bad. The beam that had fallen on me was somehow propped up and didn't actually crush me. However, my head was injured by falling tiles and is bleeding. My foot was also hit by debris. It hurts a bit, but doesn't seem to have damaged any bones or tendons. Enduring the pain from my injuries, I mustered all my strength to push against the beam. The beam was extremely heavy. Currently, I'm just a delicate girl weighing only 80 pounds with very little strength, so I couldn't budge it at all. Feeling disheartened and on the verge of giving up, a man covered in blood and dust emerged from the ruins not far away. He stood up and shook off the dust from his body. Afraid of owing someone a favor like in my previous life, I didn't cry for help but gritted my teeth and struggled to save myself. The man turned his head and saw me. He walked over and was about to help me move the beam when I stopped him with my words, "Thank you, but I don't need your help." The man's face, smeared with blood and dust, froze slightly for a moment before he reacted and said with a smile, "Don't worry. I won't demand you repay my kindness with your hand in marriage." Those words pierced my heart like an awl, sending a shiver down my spine. No, I don't want to owe anyone favors. I held my breath and pushed with all my might. The heavy beam, which should have been immovable, was actually pushed aside by me. Indeed, when pushed to the brink, a person's potential knows no bounds. 6. The man gave me a thumbs up. "You've shown me what it means for a delicate lindayu to uproot a willow tree." Ignoring him, I pulled myself out of the rubble and shook off the debris and dust. My foot was slightly injured, so I could only sit. I turned my gaze towards Soo-jun on the other side. He had already dug his mother out from the rubble. Her legs must have been crushed. They were covered in blood. "Mom, don't be scared. I'll carry you to the hospital right now. Your legs will be fine." Soo-jun comforted his mother, who was wailing in pain, as he bent down to lift her onto his back. As he passed by me, he gave me a slightly surprised glance before hurrying away. Watching their retreating figures, I felt as if granted a great reprieve in this lifetime. I'll have no further connection with their family. 3. Shall I help you to the hospital? The man looked at my bleeding foot and reached out to help me. "Thanks, but I don't need it." I pushed his hand away, covering my bleeding head, and waited until the rescue team's ambulance arrived. The rescue team put both of us into the same ambulance. After arriving at the hospital, we were even placed in the same ward. "I don't quite understand why you're guarding against me as if I were a thief." The man asked me with great confusion. "Did we have some misunderstanding before?" "No," I replied indifferently. "I just don't want to owe anyone a favor. Afraid I won't be able to repay it." The man muttered, "This is just a small favor amidst disaster. What's there to repay or not?" I smiled bitterly to myself. In my past life, it was precisely these small favors that cost me my entire life, even my parents' peaceful and comfortable twilight years. Yes, my parents. Thinking they're still alive and healthy, I got excited and was about to ask the nurse to borrow her phone to call them when I saw my parents push the door open with anxious expressions. Seeing my parents, who were only in their 50s, my eyes quickly reddened. In my past life, I truly owed them too much. After their deaths, I even sold their property to continue supporting the Su family. How are you, Manju? Mom choked up as she grabbed my hand, looking at me with loving concern in her eyes. I quickly replied, it's nothing, just some superficial wounds and a sprained ankle. I'll be fine after some rest. It's good that you're okay. You scared your father and me to death. Mom let out a sigh of relief and pulled me into her embrace. Buried in Mom's long-missed warm embrace, I burst into tears once again. In this lifetime, I won't let Mom and Dad suffer because of me anymore. I must take good care of them and ensure they enjoy their golden years in peace. Uncle Lu, Aunt Zhu. Is she your daughter? The man beside them spoke up again. Mom and Dad turned to look, their faces showing expressions of surprise. Mom exclaimed, Qin Tian, how did you get injured too? Qin Tian shrugged helplessly. I happened to be at that collapsed building site too. His mother asked with concern again, are you okay? I'm fine, just some minor injuries. Thank heavens, it's lucky you're both alright. Mom let out another sigh of relief, then said to me, Manju. Qin Tian is the son of your father's comrade Uncle Qin. He just returned from abroad not long ago. Our parents had been thinking of arranging for you two to meet, but who would have thought you'd become fellow sufferers ahead of time? Hearing this, I vaguely remembered, in my previous life, after the earthquake, my parents mentioned introducing me to a blind date named Qin Tian. At that time, I was grateful for Su Jun's life-saving grace and busy helping him take care of his mother in the hospital, so I declined the blind date. After being emotionally manipulated by his entire family, I still ended up marrying him impulsively in a daze, for, after washing away the blood and dirt from his face, Qin Tian's sharp and handsome features stood out, perfectly aligning with my aesthetic preferences. But, my psychological age is already in my 40s. Having endured the horrors of marriage and family life with the Su family in my past life, I've long lost any illusions or expectations about men, so, no matter how handsome he is, it has nothing to do with me. In this lifetime, I just want to cherish my time with my parents, focus on building my career, and enjoy the sunshine of freedom. No one can drag me into the cage of marriage. I gave Qin Tian the cold shoulder, yet he was warm and considerate towards me, acting almost like a boyfriend. I've told him explicitly many times not to waste his time and energy on me. I'm not interested in men, but I'm very interested in you and willing to spend time on you. Rather than backing off in the face of difficulty, Qin Tian became even more persistent, probably because it fueled his desire to conquer. 5. Qin Tian wheeled me, still unable to walk properly and confined to a wheelchair, to the CT room for scans. I bumped into Su Jun at the door. He was also pushing his mother in a wheelchair. I couldn't help but glance at Su's mother's leg, noticing the cast, probably broken. Just don't know if she'll end up disabled like in the previous life. I wanted to pretend not to know him, but unexpectedly, he suddenly let go of Su's mother's wheelchair, rushed forward, and angrily pointed at Qin Tian, demanding, "Who is he?" Before I could answer, Qin Tian stepped forward and said, "I'm her boyfriend." "Who are you? How can you be so rude?" Su Jun was furious and shouted at me sharply, "Lu Manju, how dare you cheat on me behind my back?" His words drew the attention of everyone around, and they began pointing fingers at me. In my past life, having been accustomed to his emotional manipulation, I almost felt guilty, my face flushing red as I tried to explain, "You're insane." Qin Tian's two resounding words snapped me out of it. Yes, in this life, I have absolutely no connection with Su Jun. I immediately regained my composure and said coldly, "Mr. Su, at most. We're merely nodding acquaintances as colleagues. If you're not right in the head, please go see a psychiatrist instead of bothering me." Su Jun's expression froze momentarily as he realized he had been reborn 20 years into the past. At this time, Lu Manju wasn't yet his wife. Recalling her dull, plain appearance in his previous life, her simple clothes and the lingering odors of cooking oil and sweat, he couldn't help but feel a secret sense of relief. In this life, he had no intention of marrying such a boring, plain-faced woman, especially one who couldn't even bear children. He wants to live happily ever after directly with Caina. Although my leg was also crushed by the beam, the doctor said that with timely treatment, it can gradually recover to normal and won't leave me disabled again. Sorry, I was confused for a moment. Soo-jun apologized to me, his eyes filled with nothing but contempt and disdain for me. I've seen that look too many times in my past life. Whatever, it's not like we're connected anymore anyway. Still, I decided to give him a taste of his own medicine, returning his disdainful glare with an icy retort. You're sick. Soo-jun's face showed restraint, but he didn't lose his temper. Pushing his mother away, my tense spine relaxed. Looking up, I met Qin Tian's thoughtful gaze fixed on me. My heart skipped a beat, and I hurriedly lowered my head to avoid eye contact. 6. Not wanting to encounter Soo-jun again at the hospital, and since the examination results showed no major issues like fractures or broken bones, I quickly went through the discharge procedures. Since my parents deliberately didn't come, I had no choice but to rely on Qin Tian to take me home. Sitting in a wheelchair, I waited for Qin Tian at the hospital entrance when I spotted Su Haiqing, my sister-in-law from my previous life. As soon as she saw me, she walked over and reached out her hand. Give me 200 yuan, I need to buy sportswear. It seems she has also been reborn, still thinking I'm her sister-in-law who would give her whatever she wanted. Kid, are you out of your mind? Do I even know you? I pretended not to know her, keeping a cold face and scolding her angrily. Su Haiqing froze for a moment, staring at me with disbelief in her eyes. In my previous life, I had always tolerated her willfulness and harsh demands, never scolding her back, because it was my fault that she, barely in her teens, lacked the care of a healthy and normal mother. So, I have to take Su's mother's place to take care of her and be tolerant of her. Su Haiqing might have realized something, looking at me with suspicion. You don't know me. I don't. What about Soo-jun? He's my brother. Haven't you married him yet? Are you out of your mind? Why would I marry your brother? I've barely exchanged 2 words with him. Listen, student, I have a boyfriend. So stop spouting nonsense in front of me. I spotted Qin Tian's car approaching and quickly waved my hand, although I didn't want to get involved with Qin Tian either. To shake off the Su family's pestering, he had to become my pawn. Qin Tian got out of the car and walked up to me. Su Haiqing stared at the handsome Qin Tian with starry-eyed admiration, practically drooling. Qin Tian bent down to pick me up, but Su Haiqing stopped him. Do you realize she's going to be my sister-in-law? Qin Tian gave her a cold glance and repeated the same 2 words. You're crazy. It's true, she really will become my sister-in-law, and she's a barren hen. Even if she gets pregnant, she'll miscarry, and eventually she'll get breast cancer. Don't be with her. You'll regret it. Su Haiqing anxiously grabbed Qin Tian's arm, batting her heavily lined, dead fish eyes flirtatiously. Handsome, look at me. I'm younger, prettier, and more fertile than her, Qin Tian coldly replied. I suggest you go to the fountain. Su Haiqing's face lit up with delight. You want me to wait for you there, confessing love by the fountain. How romantic. The fountain has water. You can use it as a mirror to see how ugly you are. Qin Tian's merciless sharp tongue left Su Haiqing's face flushed with alternating shades of anger and humiliation. She then vented her humiliated rage on me. Lu Manju, did you say something about me in front of him? I rolled my eyes at her. You're delusional. I don't even know who you are. Your face isn't that significant for me to deliberately mention you in front of others. How dare you insult me? I'll have my brother beat you to death. Su Haiqing jumped up in furious exasperation. In her previous life, she was just like this. If I didn't satisfy her slightest whim, she'd threaten to call her brother to beat me up, or flip tables right in front of me. Right now, I really want to slap her, but I'm afraid she'd make false accusations against me. So I have to hold back. 7. Slap. Never expected Qin Tian would actually step in. He slapped Su Haiqing across the mouth, asking for a beating. What kind of trash is your brother? How dare he hit my girlfriend? You hit me. How dare you hit me? Lu Manju, you bitch, just wait until you marry my brother. I'll never let you off. Su Haiqing covered her reddened cheek, glaring at me with hatred. Ha, how utterly ridiculous. It wasn't me who hit her, so why are you blaming me? But then again, that's always been the Su family's way. Every misfortune in this family is somehow my fault. Slap. Qin Tian slapped again, saying coldly, "If you dare disrespect my girlfriend again, I'll make sure your whole family can't survive in the Su household." Su Haiqing was startled by him and asked unwillingly in a weak voice, "Who are you to speak so arrogantly?" "The Qin family of Jiangcheng. Come at us if you dare," Qin Tian finished coldly, then carried me into the passenger seat of the car. Gently fastening my seatbelt, gazing at his face up close, so gentle and handsome, my heart fluttered strangely, as if lightly brushed by a feather. In my previous life, after marrying Su Jun, I was never treated with kindness by him. He treated me like a maid, refusing to even pour me a glass of water when I had a high fever of 40 degrees. Once, when I had acute appendicitis in the middle of the night, I endured the pain alone and went to the hospital by myself. I fainted halfway. And it was only thanks to the kindness of a taxi driver that I was rushed to emergency care and helped with the hospitalization procedures. Looking back now, I realize I was truly gaslighted into becoming foolish. It's not like I begged Su Jun to save me. Why should I feel so morally indebted to his entire family that I'd sacrifice my whole life? Don't you think those two siblings are strange? I couldn't help but ask Qin Tian, who was acting as if nothing had happened. Qin Tian replied indifferently, "There are many sick people, nothing strange about it." I didn't speak again. Naturally, I wouldn't tell him I was reborn to avoid unnecessary trouble. Qin Tian escorted me to my doorstep, looking at the familiar front door. I couldn't help but feel my eyes welling up with tears. In my past life, Su Jun had even demanded that I sell this place, and the new house we bought ended up being occupied by him and his mistress. My parents warmly invited Qin Tian inside to have a meal before leaving. Qin Tian didn't decline either, effortlessly helping out in the kitchen by picking and washing vegetables, making my mother laugh with a silvery chime. After dinner, he also helped wash the dishes. After washing the dishes, he played chess with Dad. After he left, Mom and Dad held my hands with satisfaction. Zhu, Qin Tian is really great. He comes from a good family, has a high education, and is the company's vice president. If it weren't for your dad's friendship with his dad from their military days, you wouldn't find such a good man even if you searched with a lantern. Qin Tian's performance indeed satisfied me, but I couldn't just jump out of one pit and rush into another. I shook my head. "Mom, Dad, I'm only 23 now. I want to spend more time with you and focus on my career. Marriage is not something I'm considering for the time being." "Alright, as you wish." To my surprise, Mom agreed readily and didn't push the marriage issue anymore. My grown-up daughter has her own world. "Whatever decision you make, my dear, I'll support you." Hearing this, I couldn't help but bury my face in my mother's arms, fighting back tears. In my past life, because of my foolishness, I dragged my parents down. I was so deeply manipulated by the Su family that I couldn't extricate myself, so they had no choice but to support me unconditionally and find ways to lighten my burden. 8. After recovering from my foot injury, I returned to the company. The familiar workstation. The familiar job, only the faces around me have grown younger. The colleague next to me saw me and immediately leaned over, whispering mysteriously, "Monju, did you know? Su Jun from our company won 5 million in the lottery and quit right away." So envious. No idea. I pretended to be indifferent, but deep down, I was still a bit shocked. I never expected Su Jun to still remember the lottery numbers. In his previous life, he also loved buying lottery tickets, dreaming of sudden wealth, but the most he ever won was 5,000 yuan. I've never bought a lottery ticket myself, but Su Jun's reminder about reaping the benefits of being a reborn individual struck me. It's 2009, the very year Bitcoin was launched, when one Bitcoin was worth just $1, or about 6 yuan RMB. I quickly searched for Bitcoin trading platforms and found someone selling 10,000 Bitcoins, so I hurried to buy them. By 2024, this thing peaked at over 670,000 yuan per Bitcoin. When the time comes to cash out, you could directly become a billionaire. No more people are selling Bitcoin. I invested all the money I've saved since childhood, totaling 200,000, into a mythical tech stock that's set to increase 500-fold in 3 years, waiting to reap the rewards. After doing all this, I started working hard. Lu Manju, our department needs to send someone to the U.S. headquarters for a month of training. After discussions among management, we've decided to choose you. What do you think? The financial manager looked at the spreadsheet I had prepared with 20 years of experience from my past life and said to me with satisfaction. I quickly nodded. I'm willing. In my past life, I also had this opportunity at this time. But back then, I turned it down to take care of Sue's mother. Since heaven has given me a second chance at life, I'm going to be true to myself. As I left the office, I saw Soo-jun packing his things after resigning. He stopped me and said smugly, Lu Manju. From now on I'll be someone you can't hope to reach. Oh, I responded indifferently with a simple acknowledgement. Just one more glance at him makes me sick. Lu Manju, what kind of attitude is this? Do you realize that missing out on me is your greatest loss? My attitude infuriated Soo-jun, who shouted loudly, drawing many onlookers' gazes, Get lost. I'm not close to you. Even if you had mountains of gold and silver, what does that have to do with me? I finished coldly and left. I really wanted to see how much he could achieve in this lifetime. 9. After saying goodbye to my parents, I boarded a flight to the headquarters in the United States. The month-long training and study were immensely beneficial to me. Thanks to my 20 additional years of work experience as a reborn individual and software optimization, I performed exceptionally well. I was personally received and praised by the headquarters president, who directly promoted me to vice president of finance with an annual salary of 500,000 yuan. This was something I only dared to dream about in my previous life. Yet in this life, it was effortlessly achieved. After returning to China, I continued to work diligently and conscientiously, optimizing the financial management of the entire company. A headhunter offered me an annual salary of $1 million to poach me. Remembering where my success came from, I chose to stay with the company, of course. Partly out of pettiness, I wanted to prove wrong those who looked down on me in my past life. In this life, I will become their superior, give them back exactly what they've done and said to me. 10. I thought Soo-jun and I would never cross paths again, but unexpectedly, we met once more. He was being chased by several people demanding repayment on the street. When he saw me, he immediately crawled over, clung to my leg, and begged, Honey, please help me repay the debt. I'll love you forever. Get out. I kicked him away with one foot. Who's your wife? If you're his wife, then you'll have to pay his debt. He owes us 500,000. The scar-faced leader said to me aggressively, She's my wife. Whoever owes you money, go find them. Before I could speak, Qin Tian suddenly appeared out of nowhere and stood by my side, saying, So she's young Master Qin's woman. My apologies, I didn't mean to offend. After bowing and scraping to Qin Tian in apology, the scar-faced man stepped on Soo-jun and began beating him up. Save me, Manju, save me. Soo-jun wailed in agony. I didn't even glance his way, walking off proudly with Qin Tian. So tell me, when will you finally agree to be my girlfriend? Qin Tian gazed at me with burning intensity as he asked. I avoided his gaze and replied indifferently, 5 years. I'll consider it after I've achieved something in my career. Qin Tian didn't hesitate for a moment. I'll wait, looking at his sincere, sunny, and handsome face. My heart couldn't help but be moved. But I won't be foolish again. As a woman, one should not covet fleeting affection from others. Only independence and self-reliance can bring true freedom. 11. A colleague living near Soo-jun gossiped with me again. They said although Soo-jun won 5 million yuan in the lottery, he fell into an online romance scam. Not only was the 5 million swindled away, but he also borrowed hundreds of thousands in high-interest loans. His family's small house was mortgaged, forcing all 4 family members to live in the cheapest rental. The strange thing is, my colleague hesitated for a moment and said, Soo-jun often curses his mother too, blaming her for preventing him from saving you back then. He says if he had saved you first, he could have made you serve him like a slave for life. That's really strange. You weren't even seriously injured in that earthquake. Could he really have expected you to pledge yourself to him in gratitude, bound to repay his kindness forever? Who would be that foolish? I forced a bitter smile. Yes, in my past life, I was exactly that foolish. Fortunately, I've been given a second chance at life. 12. To avoid unnecessary trouble caused by Sujun's harassment at home, I bought a large house, and the three of us moved in. My father, who had early-stage lung adenocarcinoma, detected the condition in time and regained his health after surgery. As for my breasts, they were perfectly healthy because there was no emotional blockage from my past life. My stocks multiplied 100-fold, and I cashed out $200 million. I resigned from the company, recruited talent, and founded an AI artificial intelligence company to develop a smart assistant that would become wildly popular in the future, seizing the benefits of rebirth. The company's growth was faster than I had imagined. In less than 3 years, the company grew into a billion-dollar enterprise, securing a place among domestic tech firms. As for the Su family, sometimes I can't help my curiosity and still inquire about their news. Sujun is buried in debt, yet remains addicted to gaming and refuses to find a job. His mother scolded him and unplugged his internet cable. In a fit of rage, he lifted a dumbbell and brutally smashed his mother's legs, breaking them. The Su family couldn't afford medical treatment, so they casually applied traditional Chinese herbal medicine, which led to severe inflammation and rotting bones, ultimately resulting in amputation. They couldn't afford a wheelchair either, so he had to drag his disabled legs and walk using his hands. Su Haiqing also didn't have money to finish high school and had to find work. She met a so-called rich second-generation boyfriend, only to be deceived and taken to northern Myanmar. Losing all contact, with no real job skills, Su's father could only barely survive by squatting at busy street corners polishing shoes for people. As for Sujun, he went to find Sirna, the woman from his previous life who bore him children and repeatedly professed her love for him, only to be spat on and told he was delusional. Then he truly lost his mind, becoming a ragged madman wandering the streets, telling everyone that the tech queen should have been his wife and that he should have been worth billions. In this life, he can only fantasize. I am who I am, not someone's wife. As for Qin Tian, who never gave up on me, we're now living together. We have an agreement, cohabitation without marriage, no marital responsibilities, and no obligations to each other's families, with money, career, freedom, and a compatible life partner. Great, that's the end of the first story. Don't go away. The next story is even more exciting. Last month, my mom broke her leg. While I was stewing lotus root and pork rib soup for her at my parents' home, my husband happened to call. It made his mouth water just thinking about it, so I took 2 extra sprigs of cilantro from the bunch I'd bought and set them aside, planning to buy some ribs tomorrow to make my husband a bowl of soup too. My mom immediately shot me a glare. Even 2 sprigs of cilantro you have to take from your parents' home. I really did raise a daughter who knows how to milk her family dry. The real issue is that I was the one who paid for all these groceries and meat. I was momentarily speechless as I looked at her. She continued complaining. What are you staring at me for? Did I accuse you wrongly? Just yesterday you brought back several rolls of toilet paper from your parents' house, and today it's cilantro. Is there anything you don't take from your parents' place? That toilet paper was also bought by me. Originally bought 2 large packs on the way, because my own home was running out too, just 1 pack for each household. But when I arrived, my mom had my sister-in-law take 1 pack, and kept 1 for herself. My home urgently needed it too, so I had to open 1 pack and take 2 rolls. You ungrateful girl, you're nothing but a disappointment, nowhere near as good as your brother and sister-in-law. They would never take a single penny from me or your father unless we forced it on them. Exactly. Whenever I buy things for my parents, you end up shoving 80% of it at them. They don't even need to ask. Even their precious son, my 18-year-old nephew, has his family card linked to my account. With a monthly limit of 5,000, he maxes it out every single month. The exhaustion from consecutive days of work, coupled with my own mother's scolding, brought tears to my eyes in a moment of grievance. Mom. Whether it's the toilet paper yesterday or the cilantro today, I bought them with my own money to bring back home. What's wrong with taking a little? Even hearing the tremble in my voice, she stubbornly retorted, so what if you bought them? Since when do daughters take things back from their parents' home? Do you actually think you're in the right? Alright, just watch your behavior. You're a grown adult, getting teary-eyed over a few words of criticism. Hurry up and cook. Make a few more dishes. Your brother and sister-in-law will be here soon for dinner. From the day she broke her leg until now, over a month has passed. Hospital stays, discharges, handling everything inside and out, financially and physically. It's all been on me alone. My brother and sister-in-law used work as an excuse and didn't even show their faces at the hospital, now that she's discharged. I rush back to my parents' house after finishing my own shop work during the day to cook dinner for their whole family every evening. At this very moment, my own mother, whom I've been tending to tirelessly day and night for over a month, greeted me with such cold and heartless reproaches. Suddenly, I felt utterly exhausted, my heart achingly empty. Wanting nothing more than to throw in the towel, I turned off the stove where the simmering pork rib and lotus root soup was ready. Ignoring all the washed and chopped greens waiting to be stir-fried on the cutting board, not just those 2 sprigs of cilantro, I took the entire remaining bunch with me. My husband and daughter both love eating cilantro. I grabbed the car keys, picked up my bag, and was about to leave straight away. My mom tugged at the strap of my bag. "Where do you think you're going?" I pulled her hand away. "You're the one who said I'm a freeloader and that I'm inferior to my brother and sister-in-law in every way. Your leg is already 80% better. Let them take care of the remaining 20% and fulfill their filial duties. I won't be coming back to take care of you or take anything from this house anymore." My father slammed his palm on the table with a loud smack. "How dare you defy your own mother like this? She scolds you a little, and you have the nerve to throw a tantrum." Ever since he was little, his favorite thing to do was to follow behind my mom and chime in when she scolded me. In front of him, I had no chance to argue my case. "Dad, I'm not trying to defy heaven. I'll just visit less often in the future, rely on you less, and take fewer things from home." With that, I walked out the door without looking back, hands trembling on the steering wheel. Furious, wronged, stifled. 30+ years of dutiful filial devotion still couldn't earn a single word of recognition from their mouths. My mother, leaning on her cane at the doorway, scolded me. "Get down here. You're not leaving. Your brother and sister-in-law will be here any minute. Get inside and start cooking right now. Did you hear me? I said you're not allowed to leave. Who's going to make dinner tonight if you go? What about when I wake up in the middle of the night? Who's going to help me then?" My mom's loud shouting made my head spin, so I rolled down the car window. "Ask your husband, ask your son, ask your daughter-in-law." Then I rolled the car window back up. No matter what, I had to leave now, immediately. The words "mooching off parents" were the final straw that broke me. When it came to familial bonds, my heart collapsed completely. "You heartless little brat, my leg isn't even fully healed yet, and you dare abandon your own mother and walk away." I quickly turned the car around in the small courtyard, and seeing she couldn't keep me any longer, she shouted from behind, "If you're leaving, at least leave that bunch of cilantro. Your sister-in-law needs it to steam fish tomorrow noon." So that's it. No wonder she kept reminding me to buy extra cilantro when I was grocery shopping today. The fish was bought by me 2 days ago and taken by her, and now even the cilantro for cooking the fish has to be bought by me for her. I ask myself, "Dad, Mom, am I really your biological daughter? If only I were a child you picked up from the trash can, it would be so much easier to accept all the things I've gone through growing up." I stepped on the gas and drove out of the courtyard. In the rearview mirror, my mom's limp was gone as she raised her crutch and chased after my car. "Keep the cilantro, leave the cilantro." They even took out their phone and started filming me. This is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. Come and see, everyone come and see. After all I've done, I've raised such an ungrateful wretch, too. After leaving the village, I wiped away my tears myself, calling my husband. "Honey, I'm on my way home now. I miss you so much." My husband must have noticed something off in my voice, but he didn't ask anything. After a brief pause, he said, "Okay, I miss you too. Drive slowly and don't rush. Safety first. Our daughter and I will be waiting for you at the neighborhood entrance." Hearing my husband say that, my eyes welled up with tears again. I gave a soft and hung up the phone. After entering the county town, before I could even catch sight of our neighborhood, I spotted my husband and daughter first. The two of them were holding hands, having already walked some distance from the neighborhood, looking around anxiously in the direction I was coming from, especially my husband. His brows were slightly furrowed, his face full of worry. Her expression softened only when she caught sight of my car, and our daughter's eyes instantly lit up with joy, breaking into a wide smile. I pulled the car over to the side. "Why did you two walk so far out of the neighborhood? We were just so happy to hear you were coming back," my husband said as he opened my car door. "Come on, get out." As soon as I stepped out of the car, my daughter Yao Yao threw herself into my arms. "Mom, are you finally able to sleep at home tonight? Dad and I miss you so much. Dad hugs your pillow every night, saying it smells like you." I looked up at my husband, my eyes still red, under the streetlight. My husband slowly pulled me into his embrace. His voice was deep and gentle. "Mother-in-law has always been harsh with her words. Did she scold you again?" I leaned against my husband's shoulder and shook my head, no longer willing to dwell on it, just softly saying, "Husband, having you is truly wonderful." Our daughter nestled between us. "Mom, there's me too, you still have me." I stroked my daughter's hair and nodded, "Right." I turned around and grabbed the bunch of cilantro from the passenger seat, proudly showing it to them. "Look, I snatched this from my parents' place. I haven't had dinner yet, I'm so hungry. How about we go home and make cilantro pork egg soup?" Our daughter cheered first. "Great, I love cilantro pork egg soup the most. Dad and I only ate a little for dinner. When you're not home, we both lose our appetite." My husband also chimed in. "All right, let's go home and cook now. I'll handle the cooking. Your mom has been taking care of your grandma lately and it's been exhausting for her. Let her rest well tonight." My husband looked at me again. "You and our daughter sit in the back. I'll drive the car home." As soon as we entered the house, my phone started ringing non-stop. I took a look and saw it was my brother. His voice was full of anger as soon as he spoke. "Lin Xiaoyu, you've gone too far. Mom's leg is still injured, and you're arguing with her. Your sister-in-law and I worked hard all day, came back from work without even having a meal, and now we have to clean up your mess. Your sister-in-law is still cooking in the kitchen right now. I think you're becoming more and more lawless." My husband couldn't stand it anymore and snatched my phone with a stern face. "Brother, if you have something to say it properly. Xiaoyu has been working very hard taking care of Mom lately, and besides," I snatched it back, "Lin Chunksai. What do you take me for? Am I your family's nanny who has to cook dinner every night waiting for you all to come home? That's right, I'm unreasonable, I'm lawless. Mom and Dad already have such a reasonable son who doesn't mooch off them or his sister. That's enough, let's just keep our distance from now on." After saying that, I hung up the phone. 3. The barely calmed emotions surged up again. My husband hesitated but still asked, "Honey, what exactly happened?" I shook my head. "It's nothing much, just that my mom said I'm sponging off her, and I got so angry that I left before finishing cooking dinner. Drove back in a huff, sponging off her." My husband was even a bit confused by the term. "All these years, you've been bringing things back home non-stop, not to mention giving plenty of money. And you're always on call for even your elder brother's family matters. I can say I've never spent a single penny from my parents' family. How could Mom say that about you?" I smiled bitterly. "Exactly. I don't understand either. That's why I couldn't bear it the moment I heard her use that word to describe me. Honey, I'm sorry. It's all because you married me that you ended up with in-laws like this." My husband wiped away the tear stains from the corner of my eye. "Silly, you haven't wronged me, let alone anyone else. It's your maternal family. They've been too harsh on you, too ungrateful." Our daughter Yao Yao hugged me while also wiping my tears. "Mommy, why are Grandma and the others so mean to you? You've been so good to them. Aren't they your closest family?" This question really stumped me, though deep down I've always known the answer. Probably because, compared to their daughter, they prefer your uncle, their son. But you're the one who's been most filial to them. Uncle's family takes everything from Grandma and Grandpa's house, while you're the one supporting them. The money you spend on them each year is even more than what we spend on our own family. I was left speechless, just looking at my daughter and thinking of every member of my maternal family. My heart felt cold and desolate. "Mom, it's okay, you still have me and Dad," From now on, we will be closer to you than anyone else could ever be. We will always treat you well and love you forever." Hearing my daughter's words, I nodded, tears streaming down my face. "All right, Yao Yao, your mom is still hungry. Hurry and sit with her on the sofa. Dad will go cook. There's no peace anywhere." On the way back, the family group chat had already exploded, and now almost everyone was tagging me. My mom posted photos of my car exhaust fumes in the family group chat, ranting wildly about how unfilial I was. She even claimed I laid hands on her, a sick person, hurting her wrist by pulling it, and abandoned her, her own lame mother. Even all the ungrateful wretches in the village combined couldn't match my level. Second uncle mentioned me in the group chat. "Xiaoyu, what kind of daughter behaves like this? Hurry up and apologize to your mom." Third uncle mentioned me in the group chat. "Our Lao Lin family has never raised an ungrateful daughter before. Do you want to be the first? Apologize to your mom right now." My sister-in-law plays the peacemaker in the group chat. "All right. Second uncle and third uncle, stop scolding little sister. Just forgive her this once, and next time she won't oppose mom like this again." My brother sides with their mother. "Forgive her? No way. I think she's gotten too big for her boots after earning some money these past 2 years, daring to defy her own family. If she has the guts to storm off in a huff, then she'd better never come back. Our Lao Lin family doesn't welcome her either, without her natal family backing her up. What kind of person does she think she is? I truly couldn't imagine, throughout my 30+ years of life, what kind of support my so-called natal family, my so-called parents, or my so-called elder brother ever provided me. When I was 7 and bullied by classmates, I tearfully sought my brother's protection, only for him, 5 years my senior, to slap me across the face instead. He scolded me, saying I deserved it. From then on, I never dared to ask him for support again. When I was 9, my cousin who was 2 years older snatched my only 10 yuan New Year's money. I cried and went to my dad for help. My dad pushed my hand away and said, "Just let him take it. What does a little girl like you need New Year's money for? It's all a waste." From now on, I will never ask my father to back me up again. As for my mother, she loves scolding me the most, always telling me to do this and that. I've been most afraid of her since childhood, and no matter what grievances I suffer, I would never turn to her. When I bought a house, my parents didn't contribute a single penny. When I bought a car, my parents didn't contribute a single penny. Even when I got married, my parents didn't spend a single penny. In fact, they even made a hefty profit, all the gift money received, plus the 188,000 yuan bride price from my husband, were all withheld. Even the few quilts and bedding sets that were part of my dowry were bought with money I had to provide separately. With such a family, such parents and elder brother, I had long stopped feeling any attachment. It was only for the sake of blood ties that I kept up a superficial harmony. Today, since my brother has gone this far with his words in the family group chat, I won't back down either. I replied with a single word right after his message: "Fine. Since the Lin family neither welcomes nor values me, I won't be going back anymore. Please forgive me too, uncles and elders." After saying that, I voluntarily left the family group chat. Finally managed to eat a few bites of dinner in peace. The boss called, and my husband walked to the balcony, speaking softly and respectfully for quite a while. Every word was filled with reluctance and excuses. Later, his father-in-law, who was far away in Zhusha, called again, and my husband had to reassure him once more. I knew that if he hadn't met me, he wouldn't have been trapped in this small county town. Originally, he had only been sent here temporarily for a brief stint. It was I who burdened him with my family ties, shackling his wings with invisible chains. He should have boundless opportunities and a bright future ahead. I gazed at him intently. I recalled our first meeting. His face as fair as jade, a scholar's demeanor, yet mature beyond his years, steady as a mountain. I was only 19 that year, renting a small 10-square-meter shop in a remote area, doing local deliveries, in the pouring rain. I got drenched like a drowned rat and arrived an hour late to deliver his order. I put on a cheeky grin and bowed apologetically, terrified he'd cancel the order and refuse to pay. Later, I always thought how awkward and embarrassing I must have seemed that day. My husband said that on that day, I was like a pearl buried in the soil, glowing all over, so full of life, so unrestrained. With just one glance, his heart was moved, and this man, he always puts me first. Living far from his hometown in a once unfamiliar small town for over a decade, my maternal home is not my support or concern, it's my quagmire. I've finally come to admit this openly. Now, I just want to do something for my husband for once. Honey, why don't we sell this apartment and move the whole family back to Jusha? My husband's hands paused while clearing the dishes, a flicker of expectation flashed in his eyes, but was quickly suppressed. Honey, about that phone call earlier. Don't worry about it, it's just that there happens to be an opening downtown, and they were asking for my opinion. You and our daughter are everything to me. Work is just a means to make ends meet. It's the same wherever I go. It's different. This is very different, I know, I said with certainty. This is my husband's career, which has been stagnant for over a decade because of me. Honey, I'm completely serious. Let's return to Jusha. Yaro is transitioning from elementary to middle school now. Whether we stay in the county town or return to Jusha, she'll need to adapt to a new school and new classmates. This is also a good opportunity for transferring schools. My husband looked at me thoughtfully. Honey, are you really sure about this? Jusha is too far from here. You won't be able to see your brother and parents often in the future. Isn't that just perfect? You know exactly how they treat me. Or do you genuinely want me to see them frequently? Of course I prefer you see them less, but after all, they're your family. My palms are slightly sweaty, a sign of relief and ease. Honey, my mind is made up. Let's list our house with the agency tomorrow. My husband smiles at me, his eyes shining. Fine, 5. Our daughter is even more excited than we are, spinning around in her pajamas. That's great. I miss Grandpa and Grandma so much. Soon I'll be able to live with them all the time. No wonder Yaro prefers her grandparents, whom she can only see once or twice a year, over her maternal grandparents whom she meets frequently. After all, ever since she was born, the New Year's money she received from her maternal grandparents was always just 20 yuan. Yet, the New Year's money they gave to their own eldest grandson was 500, even 800 or 1,000 yuan. Right in front of me, my husband, and Yao, they treated us differently every single time. Yet the red envelope money Grandpa and Grandma gave Yao was 10,000 yuan. And that was 10,000 from each of them. When she was born, they even gave her 100,000 yuan, saying it was saved early for Yao to be used later for her security or dowry. Mom, can we really go back to Jusha and live with Grandpa and Grandma, and never come back? But what about your shop? Haven't you always cared so much about your store? I tapped my daughter's nose. My silly girl. Mom runs an online store where orders are shipped directly from the factory. I'm just a middleman making a small profit margin, so living in any city wouldn't make a difference. As for that local delivery shop, it's exhausting, labor-intensive, and barely makes any profit anyway. Your dad's been wanting me to quit for ages. Closing it is just as well, since the rent renewal is due at month's end anyway. We'll just skip it and shut down for good. It's quite satisfying to think about. I've always felt this was my path, which made it hard to let go, but I've managed it until now. The family of 3 was delighted and relieved by the decision to return to Jusha. My nephew Lin Dabao sent me another message. Auntie, no offense, but you went too far today. How could you lay hands on Grandma? Even if Grandma says a few words to you, she's your own mother. You shouldn't talk back or resist when she scolds you. Haven't we always lived like this? What's gotten into you today? You're acting like you've lost your mind. Your attitude suddenly changed. My mom had to cook dinner after work and was in a terrible mood. She came back from Grandma's place and had a huge fight with my dad. You've even stirred up chaos in my own family. And then you went and said such harsh words in the family group chat before leaving it. How can you turn against your own parents and eldest brother like this? Grandma wasn't wrong about you. This is downright unfilial. Auntie, you know I've always been on your side. Take a good look at yourself. I'm only saying this for your own good. I almost forgot this ungrateful little wretch. His food, clothing, housing, and transportation have been almost entirely covered by me since he was little. Every time there's any conflict, big or small, with my side of the family. He acts gentle toward me on the surface, but his words always subtly favor his parents, himself, and his grandparents' interests. I'm just a living punching bag and cash cow rolled into one. It makes me so angry my chest burns. Turn off the spending limit on the family card linked to him. It's only the beginning of the month, and he's already used up more than half. Turn off the phone bill linkage. Turn off the utility bill linkage for my parents' home. Turn off everything. Off. Before I could reply, he sent another message. Auntie, just to be clear, your issues with dad and grandparents have nothing to do with me. Our aunt-nephew friendship lasts forever. Heart tilde. By the way, Auntie, you know I have a girlfriend. Today she saw a bag that costs over 10,000, and if I don't buy it for her, she'll break up with me. The 5,000 limit you gave me is way too little. After treating her to a few meals, there's hardly anything left. Can you transfer me some more? 10,000 would be enough. Hurry up, I need it urgently. Listen to this. Just listen. How shameless can one be? Even a junior like him took it for granted to treat me as an easy target. This 5,000 credit limit wasn't something I offered willingly. If it weren't for my mother finding out that her good-for-nothing grandson, who spends all his time loafing around the streets, had actually gotten himself a girlfriend, she wouldn't have thrown such a fit, insisting that I cover his living expenses for years until he married the girl. She claimed my brother and sister-in-law couldn't afford it, and if I, his own aunt, didn't step up, her precious grandson would end up a bachelor. With all the neighbors gathering to watch the spectacle of her making a scene shamelessly in the courtyard, I had no choice but to give in. 5,000 a month isn't unaffordable. It's just not what I want. Now, I don't even want to contribute a single cent. Suppressing my frustration, I replied, "You're your grandparents' grandson, your father's son. If I fall out with them, I fall out with you. From now on, ask your grandparents for money, ask your parents, if you dare come to me again. Don't blame me, your aunt, for blocking you. Remember this, I'm just a married-off aunt. I didn't give birth to you. I have no obligation to fund your girlfriend expenses, let alone help you get a wife." 6. Fine, Lin Xiaoyu, you're ruthless, he replied to me through gritted teeth. This is my own nephew whom I've genuinely loved and cared for over 18 years. Just like his grandparents, all he wants is to shake me down for money. Not a shred of so-called blood ties mattered to him. The next morning, my husband went to his workplace to submit the transfer application, the moment he mentioned returning to Jusha for his new post. He was clearly happier than anyone else. The night before, he had meticulously prepared all the necessary documents, and now we're just waiting for approval from the higher-ups. I posted a closure notice for my small physical store and was listing the property information with a real estate agent when my nephew Lin Debao urgently called. What could be so urgent? I hung up. A frantic message followed immediately. Lin Xiaoyu, you actually froze my family card. How could you do this? The phone bill failed to deduct this morning, and my girlfriend couldn't reach me because she didn't pay it for me. You didn't transfer money for the 10,000 yuan bag. Fine. But when I tried to buy her a dress at the mall to cheer her up, the payment failed. Do you know how those salespeople looked at me? Do you know how humiliated I just was in that mall? My girlfriend stormed off in anger. I'm going back to complain to my grandma right now. This isn't over. Let whoever wants to run off, and complain to whoever they want. I turned off my phone, couldn't be bothered with him, and continued discussing the urgent house sale with the agent. Once my daughter, husband, and I leave this small town, none of you will ever find me again. I never want to deal with this mess of family drama and toxic people from my parents' side again. I had just returned home from the agency when my mother called, no doubt about Lin Debao, so I answered. Her voice trembled with anger as she spoke. Lin Xiaoyu, I order you, refill Debao's family card with money immediately. If Debao's girlfriend leaves him because of this, I'll never acknowledge you as my daughter again. I replied calmly, fine, to be honest. I wasn't too keen on acknowledging you as my mother either. Hanging up the phone, I felt no sadness, no disappointment, just a strange clarity within. Now I'm very clear about what I want and what I don't, what should I cherish, and what should I let go of. Turned off my phone and enjoyed a peaceful afternoon free from disturbances. Spent the afternoon organizing online store orders and urging the factory to ship them one by one. Go to the market to buy pork ribs, cilantro for seasoning, vegetables, meat, and fresh fruits. Tonight, I'm going to prepare a hearty dinner for my husband and daughter. For over a month now, I've been wholeheartedly taking care of my mother from my maiden family. Over the past decade plus of marriage, I've always been on call for my maiden family's matters, offering help and support. But in doing so, I've truly neglected my husband and daughter too much. This won't happen anymore. From now on, they will be my center and everything. My husband's transfer procedures and our daughter's school transfer went very smoothly. Even our house, listed with the agency for just 5 days, found an eager buyer. After all, the school district location is excellent, the urgent sale price was attractive, and it came fully furnished ready to move in. On the day of signing the contract, the buyer agreed that vacating the house within a week would be fine. Both parties were very satisfied and happy. After signing the contract, I saw a message from my sister-in-law. Little sister, are you still angry? Since I married into the family, I've never had a cross word with you. You're not going to ignore me too, are you? Bad guys, my mom, my dad, my brother, even Lynn DeBow. There are plenty of people in the Lynn family to play that role. So naturally it wouldn't fall to her to get angry with me. I paused for a moment before replying. What's up, sis? You replied to my message, so I guess you're not mad anymore. That's good. We're all family. No grudges should last overnight. Your brother has a bad temper. Don't take it to heart. I've also talked to your mom. She shouldn't have said those things to you, but your reaction was quite impulsive too. Anyway, let's just move past this, okay? After more than a decade, I've come to understand her. Sister-in-law, if you have something to say, just say it directly. Well then, I'll be straightforward. About DeBow's family card, could you renew it for him? You know he has no education or job, and finally managed to get a girlfriend. What if she leaves and no one is willing to be with him afterward? These young girls nowadays spend way too much money when dating. The little your brother and I earn can hardly support her. Look, you earn more anyway. So this amount shouldn't matter to you, right? Even if I earn more, it's still my money. The son is yours. She never seems to consider that. Sorry, sis-in-law. But the family card is cancelled for good. I won't reactivate it for DeBow. He's already an adult. Now that he's got a girlfriend, he should really buckle down and find a steady job. Work hard at it. Only when the girl sees he's capable of providing for a family will she stay. Don't you think so, sis-in-law? Alright, seems like you still hold a grudge against DeBow. We'll talk about this later then. DeBow has spent days trying hard to win that girl back, even alerting her parents. They said they want to come over tomorrow to meet with us parents, have a talk, and then decide whether their daughter should continue seeing DeBow. Little sister, let's have the meeting at your place tomorrow. It's their first visit, so make sure you prepare properly. Your in-laws came to my house and asked me to prepare. 7. No, sister-in-law, this isn't right, is it? I was truly astonished by what she said. The girl's parents are coming to meet their future in-laws. To have a conversation with you and my brother. I'm just an aunt. What's the point of them coming to my place? Your place is so impressive. The neighborhood is nice, and the decor is beautiful. If that family sees it, they'll probably want to arrange the engagement with our DeBow right away. Speaking of which, don't blame your sister-in-law for holding a grudge. Look at how well you're doing now, so capable and successful, while your own brother is still struggling in the village. Does that seem right? Let's not talk about the past. DeBow already has a girlfriend. It's time to buy a wedding home. As his aunt, you have to step in. Your neighborhood seems perfect. Find him an apartment. I'm not saying you have to pay in full, but at least cover the down payment. Your brother and I haven't saved much. The old saying really holds true. Birds of a feather flock together. This daughter-in-law we've brought home is cut from the same cloth as my parents. Her face is thicker than a city wall. Only me, their daughter who's been worn down since childhood. Though clearly excluded by them, I still cling stubbornly and keep enduring the mistreatment. As for her saying that she and my brother lived poorly in the countryside, over the years, my husband and I have helped them quite a bit. My husband even went out of his way to find my brother a cushy, low-stress job. But my brother refused to go, complaining it wasn't a formal position and the pay was too low. He even blamed my husband for not putting in real effort to help him, accusing him of making fun of him and throwing a tantrum. He never stopped to think. He's practically illiterate, has nothing to offer, and is lazy. It's not like my husband is some all-powerful figure who can just waltz him into any good workplace. Going out to work with the foreman, others could earn $200 or $300 a day. But he slacked off and only managed to bring back 80. This is the so-called good son my mother worships like an offering all day long. I'm really fed up with dealing with my birth family. Sister-in-law, let me be clear, you raise the children you bear. Lynn DeBow wanting to buy a wedding home has nothing to do with me. A married daughter is like spilled water. This is what my brother says every day. I'm just a relative. As for your in-laws coming over for dinner, I can't host them either. You'll have to handle it yourselves. I've already sold all my properties. This house isn't mine anymore. Sister-in-law was furious. Little sister, to reject me. You'd even lie about selling your house, if you sold it. Where would your family sleep? On the streets. Besides, how could you possibly sell it in just a few days? Sleep on the streets? Don't be ridiculous. I'll go stay with my in-laws. I'll be frank with you, sister-in-law. Tomorrow, take that little girl's whole family to your place for dinner. This is a decision made by Mom, Dad, your brother, the entire family. Whether you're willing or not, you have to host them. Prepare some good dishes and wine. Don't embarrass the Lin family. For me, I must owe them something. I owe every single one of them, and I'll never be able to repay it in this lifetime. Is that it? Fine. If that's how you want it, don't blame me for being heartless. Honey, let's pack up right now and leave tonight. We'll drive straight back to Jew City overnight. It's just an 8-hour drive. We can take turns driving and cross into Jew City by dawn. My husband took my hand in his, comforting me. Honey, you need to think this through. It's really impulsive. If we let them come tomorrow only to find us gone, we might truly become half enemies when we meet again. I leaned against my husband's shoulder, my anger easing considerably. Darling, I've thought it through very clearly. This isn't an impulsive decision. Becoming enemies might actually be for the best. They're like a bottomless pit. I'm tired of supporting them while never hearing a single word of appreciation from their mouths. Alright, as long as my wife has thought it through clearly. I truly don't want to see you suffer in front of them again. Goodbye. In that case, let's start packing now. To be honest, I'm already homesick. Let's go, right away. 8. They must think that my silence means I've tacitly agreed to host their group tomorrow. Little aunt, why bother struggling? In the end, you'll have to obey anyway. Here, these are all my girlfriend's favorite dishes. Make sure you prepare every single one of them, not a single one missing. As long as my girlfriend enjoys her meal tomorrow and her parents agree to let us stay together, I'll convince my grandma and dad to forgive your unfilial behavior these days. You bastard. I'm coming for your mom. Block him directly. Pack everything you're taking into the trunk. Leave behind whatever can't be taken. Place the last key given by the new homeowner on the shoe rack inside the door, then shut it behind you. This house will no longer have anything to do with us. It was already 8:30 in the evening when my mother called me again. After tonight, it will be a very, very long time before we see each other again, so I might as well answer her call one more time. Why did the village electrician come knocking tonight demanding payment? You wretched girl, don't tell me you dared to cut off your parents' electricity and water bills. Hurry up and pay it. He's still waiting at home. It's always about money. Every time you reach out to me, it's nothing but money, money, money. Everything revolves around asking me for money. I truly wonder, if one day I were penniless and homeless, would they kindly offer me a bite to eat? My tone was flat. Mom. Before and after marriage, I've been paying your household utility bills without fail for nearly 20 years, including my brother's. After this, it'll be my brother's turn. Let him pay for you for 20 years, then come find me. I won't refuse. My mom exploded upon hearing this. You ungrateful brat. How dare you abandon your own parents? You've gone too far, way too far. If you don't pay the utilities tonight, just wait until tomorrow. I'll have your brother break both your legs. Oh. And Mom, let me remind you again, I won't be here tomorrow, and the house won't be mine anymore. If you insist on bringing outsiders over tomorrow and end up finding no one, don't blame me for it." After hanging up the phone, I gave my husband a bitter smile. "Let's drop this matter and go. When dawn comes, clear skies will follow, something to look forward to and await." 9. Once we left the county town, I called the new homeowner from the passenger seat to inform him that the house had been vacated tonight and he could come inspect it tomorrow. I also told him that I might have caused him some trouble, and after sincerely apologizing, I straightforwardly said that if anyone came to his doorstep causing a scene the next day, he shouldn't hesitate to drive them away. No need to spare my feelings. When we knocked on my in-laws' door early in the morning, we gave them quite a surprise. They were flustered but delighted, hurriedly helping us carry our things inside. A large breakfast spread was prepared, and we did end up eating quite late. My family from my maiden home bombarded me with endless calls, but I silenced them all and refused to answer. I couldn't let them ruin the rare harmony and warmth at the dining table. It wasn't until after 10 o'clock in the morning that the new homeowner called me again. Only then did I realize what kind of good deeds they had done. After knocking persistently with no answer, my brother and Lindabau actually broke down the door. A group of people barged in, eating, drinking, and making a mess of the once clean and tidy house. The new homeowner was furious and immediately called the police. What could I do? I had no choice but to keep apologizing profusely over the phone. Then again, as the saying goes, do what needs to be done. No need to spare my dignity. After all, we've only met once. What dignity do I have to speak of? It was merely a pleasant transaction. The new homeowner was a decent person, neither trying to swindle them nor dwelling on their mistakes. They were only asked to compensate for the door and basic damages, totaling 20,000 yuan. Trespassing and property damage can range from minor to serious offenses. If they refuse to compensate, we'll have no choice but to arrest and detain them. Hearing the police say this, my parents were terrified, and the family had no option but to agree to pay the compensation. As for Lindabau's girlfriend and her family, it said they fled without a trace after giving their statements at the police station, swearing they never wanted anything to do with his family again. My brother and sister-in-law finally believed that I had indeed sold the house and disappeared without a trace. With no way to contact me, I don't answer the phone, so they start bombarding me with messages. They say I can run but I can't hide, that I might escape today but not tomorrow, that I've ruined them like this, and if I'm so capable then I'd better never let them catch me. They sound like they're out for my blood. At this moment, I'm truly grateful they've never been to my in-laws' place and don't know their address. My brother still wants me to give him that 20,000 yuan, and even demanded compensation for their emotional distress, ordering me to immediately transfer 100,000 yuan to him. These are my so-called closest relatives, the people who are supposed to be dearest to me in the world, blood relatives bound by ties of kinship. It's inexplicable, tangled, unclear, and utterly unreasonable. Dad, mom, brother, sister-in-law, blocked them all, one by one. I really, truly, just want a few years of peace and quiet. Until 3 years later, I received news of my father's death. 10. To be honest, it's been 3 years of no contact, a full 3 years since I last saw them. Suddenly receiving news of my father's death, I still felt a bit desolate inside. My father, he had always been in very good health. It was my second uncle who informed me, afraid I wouldn't believe it. He even sent me photos of the coffin. My husband and I rushed back overnight. The family saw me as if they had seen a new dawn and light. Both overjoyed and shedding tears, my brother, dressed in mourning clothes, jogged over to greet my husband and me. "Little sister, you're back. It's been 3 years. Big brother truly knows he was wrong. Please forgive me." My sister-in-law also wore an ingratiating expression. "Yes, little sister. This family truly can't do without you. I admit I was wrong before. Now that you're back, won't you stay?" Lindabau used to have somewhat fair and delicate features, but now he had turned into a dark ball, both blackened and skinny. "Wah, auntie, you've finally come back. If you hadn't returned soon, I might have been the next one worked to death, tired to death." Only then did I realize that after I cut ties with them, there was no one to cover the household expenses anymore. My sister-in-law forced my parents, who had already stopped farming, to take on another 100 acres of land, working day and night in the fields. No matter how strong my parents were, age had caught up with them, and they were completely exhausted. My father was irrigating the fields night after night, without proper meals or sleep, until one moment, he collapsed right there in the field and never woke up again. Linda Bow was also dragged by my brother to work at the construction site, earning wages for both his own and my brother's shifts. My father never showed me a shred of affection since childhood. But with death comes the end of grievances. Now he has passed away, though I couldn't shed tears, my face still wore sorrow. I've returned, and naturally, the funeral expenses and such will be covered by me. I acknowledge this. After all, he gave me life. Consider this my final act of filial piety for him. My brother and sister-in-law were all smiles. They didn't have to worry about the funeral expenses, but all the condolence money from the villagers would go straight into their pockets. All they had to do was collect the money, making a tidy profit effortlessly. They greeted everyone with beaming smiles, turning a solemn funeral into what felt like a joyous celebration. My mother's hair is now streaked with white, with barely any black left, aging beyond recognition. I still remember 3 years ago, her hair was shiny black with hardly any white strands. Daughter, you're my own flesh and blood, you can't abandon me, your father is already gone. And your sister-in-law and brother will be the death of me. Take me with you, won't you? I can't bear living with your brother and sister-in-law anymore. Now I understand. You're truly my good daughter. I didn't raise you in vain. You're the most filial child. It's your brother who's the real ungrateful leech. He's the cursed one. How could I have given birth to such a cursed son like him? You take me away. Take your mother away. Sorry, Mom, but I won't take you away, because just like Dad, you never showed me an ounce of love since I was little. In fact, you wore me down and oppressed me even more than he did. From the age of 3, you made me fetch foot-washing water for the whole family every night and wash their stinky socks, until the night before my wedding. You were still ordering me to serve you by washing your feet, admonishing me that after marriage, I should support my natal family even more, be filial to my parents, and repay the debt of their upbringing. At 7 years old, you trained me to cook, and from then on, the meals for the entire family fell solely on me. Day after day, year after year, at 15, I ranked first in my class and top 10 in the county in the high school entrance exams, yet you forced me to drop out. College teachers and principals came wave after wave, only to be either driven away or scolded off by you. They said they'd waive half my tuition, but you still disagreed. There was even a kind teacher willing to sponsor me for free, and you refused that too, all because you were afraid that if I studied too well, I'd fly away someday. Unable to stay by your side to care for you in your old age, you already had my brother. The reason you had me was precisely for this purpose. So there was no way you'd agree to let me continue my education. These were your own words to me later. Absolutely short-sighted, utterly ridiculous. If I truly excel academically and develop great abilities in the future, I will definitely bring you to the big city to take good care of you. Wouldn't that be a better old age and blessing? I'm only 15, still a minor. No one would dare hire me to work outside. You rented 50 acres of land, all just for me. From then on, under the scorching sun, a slender girl like me toiled alone in the fields, sweating profusely, while you and my father rested comfortably on the heated bed. Sleeping from noon till dusk. Finally, when I reached the age to go out and work, you demanded my wages every month, afraid I might shortchange you by even a penny. Fortunately, I had the foresight to secretly set aside some money, which later allowed me to rent a small, out-of-the-way shop for local deliveries. Marking the beginning of Ying's entrepreneurial journey, I can say that even the brick house built for my brother's wedding, at least 70 to 80% of it, was earned by me. In my youth, I too had lofty aspirations and grand ambitions. I could have had a much brighter future, all ruined by your hands. My husband pulled me aside to whisper, maybe we should take Mom with us. It's not like we can't afford it. If necessary, we could hire a nanny for her to take care of her around the clock. I stopped my husband. Don't worry about it, dear. I have my own plan. Amidst this funeral atmosphere, I struggled to squeeze out a few tears. Mom, seeing you like this. I really want to take you with me, but do you think I've had it easy these years at my in-laws' place? My little online shop went bust long ago. Without a diploma, I can't even find a job in the city. I have to rely on my husband to support me, and my in-laws look down on me, afraid I might run out of money. They practically shoved cash at me every single day, counting every penny for my monthly allowance, constantly checking accounts with me, complaining I'm freeloading. They're practically itching to kick me out. They're so afraid I might suffer away from home, they'd practically lift me up to the heavens. If I take you back with me this time, my in-laws would probably make my husband divorce me on the spot. We'd both get thrown out together. Sorry, Mom and Dad, for using you as an excuse. I promise to be even more filial to you in the future, to repay you, making up for that fragile feeling of lacking parental love since childhood. By then, I'll be a middle-aged woman, and you'll be an old lady, without a livelihood and with expensive city rents. I'm afraid we'll have no choice but to scavenge trash and sleep under bridges. My mom was stunned upon hearing this. I never expected your in-laws to be such people. I couldn't possibly scavenge trash. And sleeping under bridges. My body couldn't take it. Once it gets cold, wouldn't I freeze to death in just one night? That's right, Mom. Now that it's time for you to retire, I can't just ignore you. Here's what I'll do. After I go back, I'll squeeze it out of our living expenses. Even if I have to go without food or drink myself, I'll secretly manage to save up some retirement money for you. At most $8,000 a year. Any more than that really won't be possible. If my in-laws find out, I'll be done for. Mom, $8,000 in the countryside, plus a bit of township elderly subsidy, is more than enough for her to live comfortably on her own. My mother trembled as she grasped both my hands. All right, daughter, it's settled then. You're 100 times more filial than your brother. But don't you dare tell your brother and sister-in-law about this money. Just quietly transfer it to Mom's own bank account. Okay, I nodded emphatically. Don't worry, Mom. Your father already worked himself to death. If your brother and sister-in-law try to force this old bag of bones to keep farming, I'll report them to the township for elder abuse. Yes, Mom, let's do it this way. I support her, wholeheartedly agree. These past 3 years, I've been living blissfully at my in-laws' place. With the whole family harmonious and united, I absolutely cannot let my mother go over there and mess all this up. I did close my online store half a year ago. My husband was promoted to a more significant position half a year ago with strict disciplinary requirements that prohibit family members from engaging in business. Even if it was just a small online shop, I couldn't risk leaving any potential flaws in my husband's career prospects. My mother-in-law knew about the gaps in my education. With her extensive connections, she arranged for top-notch one-on-one private tutoring for me as soon as we returned to Jusha. It helped me self-study to earn my associate degree, better late than never, and I'm very satisfied. I used to think that the opportunity to learn only comes once, and if you miss it, it's gone. But my mother-in-law said, as long as you want to study and improve yourself, it's never too late. Even in your 70s or 80s, you can still attend university for seniors. Besides, you're only in your 30s, with a steady mind and youthful body, still a wonderfully prime age at that time. I was self-studying for graduate school entrance exams, seeing me burning the midnight oil every night. My husband teased, my wife is too diligent. Since you're already taking graduate exams, why not go for a PhD? While we're at it, I believe in you. Just when the time comes. My education as your husband won't measure up to yours, and you mustn't look down on me. How could I ever look down on you? I've been striving with all my might to catch up to you. You are my pride, my role model. The standard I'll always aspire to for the rest of my life. I'm working hard to reclaim the ambitions and aspirations of my youth, and striving just as hard to keep pace with yours. The funeral was over. I declined all invitations and matters from my maternal family, resolutely. I left with my husband without looking back. I still haven't removed my brother and sister-in-law from the blacklist. Just one last glance. I saw my mother's head full of white hair and her bewildered expression. Thinking about the next time we meet, it might well be another funeral. In the end, my heart softened a little. Forget it, let's make it a round number. Send her 10,000 yuan every year.